Welcome to today's Advisicon Academy training. We are a group of authors, teachers, consultants, and technologists who are passionate about helping organizations learn, scale, and grow with a mix of methodology and technology to deliver results. No matter the size of your organization, our team specializes in maximizing your personal and professional productivity by leveraging the Microsoft technology experience. With attending any of our training sessions, we offer PDUs as we are a registered education provider with the Project Management Institute. At the close of today's session, I will give you instructions on how to claim your PDUs and how to contact Advisicon for any questions you may have.
Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Academy on Demand from Advisicon. Looking forward to spending time with you today and talking more about Microsoft Teams. Now, if you're like me, you get lots of information from Microsoft. Sometimes I feel like I can't keep up. Today, I'm going to be spending some time just giving you some information about some features that maybe you're aware of, maybe you're not. So ones that are active right now in Microsoft Teams. And I'm also going to give you insight into some upcoming features in Microsoft Teams that are coming here in weeks to months from now. So we'll spend time today going through that. I'm going to be working in Microsoft Teams here, so you can see the presentation that I'm going through, and I'll be able to navigate and show you where some of these features are in Microsoft Teams. So with that, let's get started. So we know that Microsoft Teams is the communication and collaboration hub. It's the hub for teamwork from Microsoft. Calls, chats, collaborating on documents, sharing files, all those pieces, right? My mantra is work in teams, live in teams. And that's what I do. And I think there are a lot more people out there, by the volume of how Teams has grown, are doing the same thing. So with that, especially with COVID, there have been a lot of features that have been sped up in the Microsoft roadmap, the Teams roadmap. And so today, let's talk about what some of those features that have been newly released are. Let's go through those. Some search enhancements. So we know that with Microsoft Teams and with SharePoint, very powerful search capabilities. And so what they've done is they've actually added something brand new. And that is, when you're working in a chat or a channel and you're trying to find some information, you can easily do that now with a very simple shortcut. So hitting the Control F key on your keyboard will allow you to search for a specific keyword, again, in a chat or a channel that you might be in. And you can see here that I'm showing you an image, basically, of where you see if you type the Control F key, you will see the /find option that appears in the top menu. So if I go up here and do this right here and do Control, I would do a slide find, then you can actually go and type a keyword, and it's going to say specifying a channel or chat up here. And then you can type a keyword. So if I give me the option to select a specific channel, you can select the channel, type in a keyword, and that will actually return the information that you're looking for. So again, you can do the /find, or you can do the Control F on a keyboard, and it will give you the option to pull that up. So another nice little quick shortcut that Teams is giving you to work on. Okay, the next one, pop-out chats. This one I love. This one is couldn't come fast enough. What I find is actually when you're working in a chat and you need to find a way to, originally when you were chatting, maybe you were collaborating with your team on a document and a chat came across, you had to click on the chat button here on the left side, and it would take you out of that window just so you could see the chat. Well, now you don't have to worry about that. Now, and you have several ways that you can do this. There is a way for you to basically type in the /POP and then specify a username, and that will pop out the specific chat that you may have associated with that person. There is an ellipse, so if you click on the 3 dots next to a person's name in the chat window, that'll bring up this little menu, and you can click out the pop-up chat option. And then there's also the ability, if you see this little icon over here, when you have your chat, we'll bounce over there right now and take a look at this. So you can see some of these. So if I click on this chat right here, so you can see I can go and I can click on this right here, this little pop-out chat. I click on that button, and this is going to go ahead and pop out that chat now. So now I have a window here that I'm using, and I can now have this chat window open while I go off and do something else. So I can go back and click on another team or possibly another chat, and this one's free-flowing. So that's a great way of doing it. Again, you can double-click right here. So if you double-click, it pops open the chat there as well. So very easy. And then you can also go ahead and if I click on this pop-out chat option here, by clicking on these three dots, that will again pop out the chat. So very easy ways. And then again, if I'm up here and I type in pop and I go and specify a person, I could say Brian right there, and there it goes, pops out the window. So there you go. Very easy, fun ways of popping these out. And later on, I'm going to show you in this presentation that there is an option now where they're going to be able to have whole windows, meeting windows that can pop out from the application. Something that's coming. So that's exciting. So, okay. So let's go back and let's go back to the teams we were in. We'll go back to the presentation that we had going. We'll pull up that. Okay. Custom backgrounds. Now, custom backgrounds are a great feature. With COVID hitting, we saw that a lot of people, much more people worked from home. Microsoft really sped up the speed in terms of which they were going to roll out some of these things. So custom backgrounds was one of those. The nice thing about the custom backgrounds is we go in, you have a set of default backgrounds that Microsoft has given you, but we also have some specific ones where you can load your own. Now before, if you had ones that you had to load, there was a specific type of roaming folder where we would need to actually place these files into that folder. Now they've actually made it a lot easier to add your custom backgrounds. So working in this right here, if I go back into my little menu here and I'll pull this up, what we'll do is we'll show you that you have the ability of going in and modifying some of these custom backgrounds when you're starting your meeting. So right here, if I go in and I'll be able to do this and do this. So right here, we can go in and see show background effects. So clicking on the three bars, click on show background effects, and now you have your defaults, but now you have the ability of clicking the add new button here. And the Add New button, will launch your file explorer here and allow you to choose whatever file you want, and that will make your new custom background. So very fun feature to have those custom background effects. And actually when you're working that, you can actually have the ability to turn on those backgrounds prior to joining the call. So again, it's a very great way of using that feature. A very useful feature and a fun feature as well. So, okay, so let's go back. Another great feature is the download attendance lists. Now, Microsoft's rolling this feature out in a couple different phases. One here is right now, when a meeting organizer has an active meeting open, the meeting organizer can go in and by clicking on the three dots next to within the people pane, so you see all your meeting participants, you will see this option to click download attendance list. So again, a couple cautions. One, the only meeting organizer has the capability of using this at the moment. And two, the list must be downloaded while the meeting is still active and while all the attendees are present in the meeting. So that's the way it is right now in the first phase. In a later phase, they are going to change it so that you will be able to download the attendance list after the meeting has ended. And you can see information like who was in the meeting, when did they join, when did they leave, things of that nature. So you'll be able to actually download that as a CSV file of information. So this is a great little feature for those of us that are maintaining our meetings, need to be able to track who was there, who wasn't there, keeping track of all the information. So that's a great feature. Okay. So teams for personal, or I say teams for consumer. So we all know that we have the teams for business. Everyone has the business licenses, nonprofits are using it. Now Microsoft is giving the general home user the ability to use Teams. We know there's already a free version of Teams as well, but now this is going to be basically the Teams for personal use. So we're going to be going through, and people from home will be able to use this application. Right now, it's available on in mobile devices, Apple or Android. So you can go in there and access and start to take advantage of some of these great features of Teams, but designed for personal use. Teams and Outlook integration. So this is great. This is actually for those of us that live in Teams, work in Teams all day long. However, we're getting emails from the outside, and we want to make sure that we're storing all of our information in Microsoft Teams and the associated channels within those teams. The integration now that sits between Outlook and Teams is very powerful. So right now, you actually have two ways. So you have the ability to share information from Outlook to Teams. There is a button that's up in the ribbon at the moment where you can go and click on, have an email, click on Share to Teams. That'll bring up a window that allows you to, or a dialog box that allows you to go in and select where you want to push this information and then process that. Conversely, there is the opposite direction. So we have a Share to Outlook option from Teams. So let's say you have a threaded conversation in one of your channels, or maybe you have a private chat with one of your colleagues, and you want to be able to move that information back to Outlook. Perhaps they sent you an attachment, an image, a document file, and you want to push that back to Outlook because you want to be able to route that to another individual, another team member. It's easy for you to do that. So basically, if I went into one of my teams right here, and I select, let's say I go into my demo team, and maybe if I have some chats that are going on here, right here. So if I wanted to, I can select any of these options. This is under the chat, but if I click on the ellipse here, then you can see by clicking on that, you can see the Share to Outlook option. That's right there. So it's very easy. Any type of information you want to push back to Outlook from Teams, you can do that. And basically it's, and then with Teams, they share it to Teams. You click on when you're Outlook, you would click on the button to share it to Teams on your ribbon and move it to Microsoft Teams. So that's a very great way of having that integration and back and forth between Teams and Outlook. Okay, so we've got some other ones here, and I'm just showing you my big bald head at the moment. But some other cool features that are great for meetings. We have the raise your hand feature. So if you're in a meeting, maybe you are not the type that wants to shout over people, then having the raise your hand option is great because you can actually raise that, and in a meeting window or into participants, you'd be able to see, hey, my hand's up right now. So call on me, I have a question. So I love the raise your hand feature for meetings, especially if I'm doing a teaching engagement, doing a webinar, and there's Q&As, and it's an interactive. Maybe I'm doing a direct customer session, and so I have about 15 people in the room or on the line. And so as I'm going through material and I see that pane come up and I see the hand go up, immediately I will stop and I can answer their questions. So I love the raise your hand feature It's a great little feature. So, okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to drop in. So I'm going to now go into some of the features that are coming soon. So not really anything I can show you within the application itself. However, what I can do is I have a few videos in there that talk about some of the features from Microsoft and get you excited for what's coming down the road here. So we're going to go back and we'll get at that in 1 minute. Okay, so now I've gone ahead and told you about some of the features that are currently in Teams. Let's talk about some of the features that are coming soon. This should get you excited. So let's start off. Let's talk to Together Mode. This is a very cool feature. I like this. So when I first saw the Together Mode picture and of what it's going to look like. So this is an option now that is going to go away. It's a departure from the normal grid view. The grid view is still there, and in fact the grid view is getting better. But this is a slightly different portrayal of how people are positioned when you have a large group of people in a meeting. So any of us that maybe are self-conscious when you're the presenter and people are sitting there and they're talking to you and you feel like you're getting stared at by a room of people, maybe their eyebrows are raised, maybe they have some mean looks on their faces. Sometimes this view is meant to alleviate some of that. And in all seriousness, when I first saw this and read about this new feature, when I saw this, this is actually what came to mind. Now, if I'm dating myself with that picture, those of you that can recognize exactly what that is, you get a kick out of that. But when I first saw that image of all those people on the same page, I thought of the Brady Bunch. But in all seriousness, there is science behind why Microsoft is doing this, why we're actually going ahead and having this new type of view and capability. So it's more of the auditorium view that you now have. And so when a person is talking, now you'll be able to see people's heads turn basically as they're looking at that person who's talking. So it's a different experience, and I'm looking forward to seeing this rolled out and play. I think it'll be fun. Another fun feature of Teams. With that, I'm going to show you a little bit of video that talks about a little bit more. So a video from Microsoft that really gives you some insight into what this Together Mode is all about. So we're going to go ahead and run that video.
Microsoft Teams is the hub for teamwork in Microsoft 365. It's one place where people can chat, share files, and work together. But now that video conferences are the new normal, there are times when people need to feel like they're in the same room. That's when you can turn on Together Mode. It puts your team in one shared space. Microsoft AI helps break down barriers, letting you communicate more naturally and feel more connected to your team. It works for coffee breaks, team meetings, or your next all hands. So from everyday get-togethers to important meetings, be together even when you're apart.
So let's talk about another feature that many of you are happy about, probably familiar with, but it's coming. And that is the 7x7 team grid. So we know that earlier during the COVID crisis, Microsoft Teams, they rolled out the 3x3. So we were able to have more folks there in a meeting on the same time so you could see everyone who's talking. They're going even further, and so they're going to have the total of 49 people on the screen as well. So 7x7 team grid, that'll be coming here hopefully sometime in the next month or so. So you'll be able to have all those different pictures of folks that are on the call, in a meeting, and you can see all of them and doing that. So 7x7 team grid, it's coming soon. Multi-window capability. This is a new feature. So this will now allow you to go ahead and pop out windows. You can have multiple windows here. So in this case here, this is not just a chat window like we talked about earlier. Now this is actually showing a meeting window that's been able to pop out. So you're going to be able to have these meeting windows popping out of Teams. So a lot easier for you to manage multiple windows and move things around as you need to, and not be locked into the one view in Teams, or you have to use backwards and forwards, or clicking on Teams and channels to navigate to go places. So multi-window is a great feature. Templates in Teams. This is a feature that when I first heard about it, I was psyched. I was stoked. So basically, this will now allow you to allow teams, allow users to begin to templatize. No longer are they constrained by what Teams gives you. You can actually go and create custom templates of how teams and channels are designed, what they're composed of. So you can go through and have a variety of options of creating a template and defining exactly what is in those templates and moving through. So what better way to show you than actually, here's a video that talks a little bit more about what these template for teams are all about.
Creating a new team, now you can get started even faster with templates in Microsoft Teams. When creating a new team, users can choose from a variety of customizable templates for common team types. Each template includes predefined channels, tabs, and apps, providing an effective team structure out of the box. After the team is created, users will receive guidance on how to best use and customize the team. Organizations can easily create their own custom templates to fulfill unique business needs. You can create a template from scratch, start from an existing template, or even templatize an existing team in your tenant. Organizations can speed up collaboration, surface relevant apps, standardize team structures, and scale best practices with templates in Microsoft Teams.
Another great feature, again, a lot of these are coming out of all this, the COVID crisis, everyone's working from home. Maybe you got noisy kids in the background. Maybe you're a potato chip lover and you love snacking on chips during a meeting. The trouble is you forget to put your mute button on and everyone can hear you shuffling the bag. Real-time noise suppression is coming right now. So here's another quick video to give you a feeling for what that is like. So check this out.
If you're on a call and you're joined in a meeting and now somebody is starting to eat some chips, opening the chip bag, you can hear a lot of background noise and it's very hard to understand me very clearly. Now with the power of AI, teams can remove that background noise and you can understand me very clearly.
That's great. We love that. I think it's a great feature. I've got 3 kids at home and sometimes they can get kind of noisy. So it's actually good that we're back in our offices again. Here's another new feature. The Meet Now button is going to be moving, and we're going to be moving it into channel headers. So before, when you're working in Teams, we know that if we go back, and I'll show you, I'll go back into the team here and show you if I'm actually working this. There is a Meet Now option that you have typically in this bar right here. Normally, if you are in a channel and you want to go ahead and or a chat and you want to meet now, you'd have to have that bar available. Now, what they're going to be doing is when you're working in Teams, you will actually have the ability to meet now from the channel itself. So the Meet Now option is going to be placed here and allow you to go and start those instant meetings that you need to have. So moving from where it was down in the toolbar and moving into up here in the channel headers. So that's exciting. I think that's a great little move. I like that they're doing that. Virtual breakout rooms is the next feature I wanted to tell you about. So if you have, let's say you have an all-day conference that you go to for your professional association, and we know there's keynotes, and then after keynotes you go ahead and you have breakout sections, maybe they're educational sessions, labs you go into. Well, now you can actually exercise those breakout rooms. Maybe you have an all-hands meeting as well. You can break out these and create virtual breakout rooms within Teams. Now, there is a way for you to do that now in Microsoft Teams, and that's basically go ahead and using channels. So if you go ahead, I'll show you my demo channel here, my demo team, and you can see that I have breakout room 1, 2, and 3. And so you can basically create these independent channels that you have going. And then I could go ahead and say, okay, well, let's go ahead. I want to go ahead and go in this breakout room, and I want to go ahead and meet on this. So you can go and start a session here, and go ahead and be able to meet now in this channel. You could go and then you can actually do the same thing here. You can see previously I was in here and there was some meeting sessions, or here I could go in and meet as well. So especially when that Meet Now button gets moved and you're working in these teams, you'll now be able to bounce back and forth. So you can actually, when you have 3 of them going, you could go and bounce from one breakout meeting to another and going through. So it's a great little feature, but what's coming is it's going to be more functionality built in. This is sort of a workaround way right now of using breakout rooms as channels in your teams, and then meeting within those teams. The new feature that's coming out will be much better. So looking forward to having that coming out very soon. All right, and last but not least, I wanted to share some other pieces, some other features that have been requested and are in the Microsoft Teams user voice. So any of you can go to the user voice and be able to vote on features, or even submit a new feature that you think is missing in Teams and you desperately want it added back in. So I went ahead and looked at the user voice and looked at some of the features that I know that we at Advisicon have talked about before that we wish they were there. We can't wait for them to come in there. So here are some of the ones that I grabbed. Moving channels across teams. So being able to move channels across teams, that is one where you can be able to move them around, desperately waiting for those to come in. Using multiple accounts simultaneously. Right now, what you can do, what I do sometimes, if I need to have 2 different sessions open, I will have my Teams desktop client open, and then I want to open an incognito window in a browser and pull up a second session so I can have both accounts going. This is one thing that's on the wish list, and hopefully we're going to see those coming soon. Including the Office 365 group calendar in Teams. So being able to easily go to and then see all the various calendars in Teams for all the various groups, and see all the activities that are going on there. Having a compact mode. So sometimes the Teams windows are very large. So being able to have a compact mode that's more compressed, that you can move around in there. So the compact mode is on the wish list. Again, if you want some of these, go to user voice, vote for them. Microsoft looks at that, and the ones that get the highest votes get consideration for what gets rolled into the roadmap and what feature gets worked on. Archiving channels is another one, so that's another one that's on the big wish list, being able to archive channels when you're done. Let's say you have a professional services team and you have channels by customer, and you've closed out the work, and that customer is maybe no longer a customer, you want to archive the information, you can do that. Deleting private chats. So deleting private chats, basically if you have a one-to-one private chat and you want to be able to get rid of those, you can delete those. And then finally, resolving the renaming dilemma between team channels and SharePoint folders. So if you go and you actually rename a team channel, the SharePoint folder associated with that team when you first spun it up remains, the previous name remains. So trying to solve that dilemma. Okay, so that was basically that's a set of features that I wanted to go through. They're coming soon, ones that are coming soon, as well as the wish list. So right here, there's some more resources you can always go to. You can check out the Microsoft 365 blog. or you can go to that Microsoft Teams user voice. There's user voice for the other applications as well. But go on there. If there are any of those features that I talked about in today's video that talked about are features that you want to vote for, go ahead and go to that URL that's on the screen here, and you can go ahead and vote for those, and you may have a hand in getting that feature rolled out sooner than later. So with that, that's it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching, and look forward to seeing you in a future one. Take care.